Good afternoon, folks. I hope you're having a lovely weekend. On here recording for the fourth or fifth time this weekend, because it's been a very, very, very busy weekend. But first of all, if you've seen any other of my videos, you know the drill. Down below, there is a discount code, Northern Exile, for composite games. If you need anything in terms of the hobby, models, paint, anything, get it from Composite Games. Not only do you get a 20% normal discount that you get on normal Games Workshop prices, but with my code down below, you get an extra 5%. That's 25% at checkout that you get off of your order. That is half of the GW staff discount, and you're not going to see better than that. So, as a thank you for supporting the channel, there is your 5%, and each time you do that, it does support my channel too, with me getting models for the Astral Blades, and also me getting models for prizes for you guys. So, there it is down below. And without further ado, let's have a look at some Horus Heresy things that have been going on the past few days. So, I wanted to do a little rundown. Now that the Warhammer Fest is over and we have all of the reveals that we are going to get from there, I wanted to just pinpoint a few things. Number one, first thing is that, as I said the other day, I'm very underwhelmed by the Chaos reveal. I think in terms of reveals, if this was an E3 showcase from Electronic Arts or Activision or something like that, let's put Games Workshop on their scale, because they kind of are. Different genre of things, obviously, but, you know, they're still around. They still cater to the same people. If this was a reveal from them, it would be getting panned. That people would be like, what? That's it? Like, this is your big Warhammer Fest thing? Like, this was it? For instance, for ages, anyone who knows how Games Workshop works, they have the next year's releases either planned out or made, ready to go already. Out the door, they can show you what it is, all that kind of stuff, and they've chosen not to. This isn't something where they just don't have the models yet. Look at the Leagues of Vatan here. One of my main frustrations with the Games Workshop. Look at we've got the Leagues of Vatan here, brilliant, yeah, they're on their trikes, yeah. So we got revealed one unit. One. And to me, it's a lovely looking unit. I really like it. I like what they're going for with them. We have a kill team as well, which I quite liked. But in terms of like the actual main line, hey, this is what the squats are going to be. This is what we got. Now, that's just one example. And I went on about the Chaos Space Marines the other day. I thought that they were done really dirty. But I'm just been underwhelmed. Like, I don't want to be a YouTuber who comes on and moans about Games Workshop all the time, because I actually want them to succeed. I want them to do well. In fact, I don't know very many YouTubers who don't want Games Workshop to do well, because we would like to keep earning money, please. And we're not going to if no one's in the hobby, right? So we want Games Workshop to do well. We want their models to sell well. We want them to give the fans what they want and what they desire. For instance, I think if you're an Age of Sigmar player, you've had quite a good time of it, to be honest with you. Some of the units come out, like these Ogroid Theridons. I'm low key. These were my favourite models of the entire weekend. Honestly, like I want these. I don't even play Chaos, but I want these. They look absolutely spectacular. In fact, I'm doing a Chaos Warband in 40k. I may use these guys as Demon Princes, you know, or as Dreadnoughts. Just proxy them in as Dreadnoughts. How cool would that be? You know, they just look too good not to. They're absolutely fantastic models. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, so I've been a bit underwhelmed with Games Workshop in terms of Warhammer 40,000, which is the main bread and butter of our channel, of course. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure that they've done anything to dissuade any of my fears that they're going to be nickel and diming you for the next 6 to 12 months. The reason why Games Workshop hold back a lot of their range that they've got ready to go is to create a sense of false rarity, is to create a sense of FOMO, fear of missing out. So when these things do eventually drop, everyone drops what they're doing and goes and buys these things, because you never know when they're going to come up again. Same thing happened with Crow, Castellan Crow, as I've spoken about many times. You know, my rage-inducing moments with that. And the same thing will happen here. But moving on to Horus Heresy. Now, I'm going to hold my hands up and say I was wrong on this one, because my source told me that, this might have been lost in translation, but my source told me that each legion will be getting its own book, its own Horus Heresy army book. I'm quite gratified to tell you, as you've obviously been watching it as well, but I'm quite gratified to say, number one, they've taken the eye looking backwards away from the Warhammer 40,000 or the Warhammer logo, which I really like, because the reason for that is the Horus Heresy in Warhammer 40,000 isn't that well known, and it's actually banned. You're not allowed to know anything about it, right? They don't want anyone to know anything about anything in the setting, and so the eagle looking backwards is the Vigilant saying, it's the Inquisition saying, look, we're looking after this. Do not look back. We're going forward, but we're going forwards blind, because the other one doesn't have an eye, and I always really like that. I didn't like the fact that on some Horus Heresy pictures that I kept seeing, I was seeing that double-headed eagle, the Aquila, with the eye in the left head, which is completely wrong, because you're currently in the Horus Heresy, so they seem to have fixed that. But going forwards, I actually think this is pretty good. Again, I'm going to give credit where credit is due to Games Workshop. I love the fact that they've stuck with the Legion theme, and they've not tried to make it too much like Warhammer 40,000, where everyone has their own codex sort of a thing. I like the fact that all the traitors and all the loyalists are in separate books, nice big books. One thing I will say, it would have been even better if this was one super book. Like, if this was one book for, like, £35, and it had all of the traitor and loyalist rules in there. But I'm guessing I'm going to give them a pass on this one, because, yes, they're going to earn double the money, because if you want to start a heretic, a traitor legion, and you're currently doing Imperial Fist, you're going to have to buy a new book. So they're going to double their money, yes. But on the flip side of that, I actually think the game has grown a lot since its first inceptions, where we were getting the themed books that were coming out, like Massacre and things like that, which was probably the high point of the entire game to me, to be honest with you. But the game has grown since then, and if you want armies to have their own rules, to the fact that we're not just having carbon copy armies across the board, this is a fantastic way to do it, and make sure that all of your armies have their own little quirks, even though they're all legions. I'm still debating whether to get into Horus Heresy, because I would really love to, but I'm spread thin in terms of my resources, in terms of Warhammer at the moment, got my daughter, I've got all these other things going on, so, it's got to be, it's not top priority, maybe for my birthday, or Christmas or something, but we'll see. So, the new box set for Horus Heresy coming out. Here's the thing, right? And I said this the other day, and I've been fielding emails. And by the way, Hobby Nightmares will be out tomorrow. So, just for anyone wondering. But I've been fielding questions about this quite a lot. And because I have said before, like, this is not a good value box for £240 to £270. And I've heard £270 is the current estimate of what this is going to cost. I think that's an insulting price range. I think it's ridiculous. I don't think any starter quote-unquote box set should be what this is. Should be this kind of a price. This is described by Games Workshop as one of the main box. So we have the new edition box set. Like, it's just, I'm really not looking forward to this price when it comes out. Now, my counterpoint to people who say to me, look, well, it's a really good deal when you look at the models that are in the box. Guys, Games Workshop set the prices. Games Workshop don't have competition. Do not come to me and say, 3D printer goes, no, I'm sorry, mate. Your 3D printed models may look okay, but you're still not competition for Games Workshop. That's why they can afford to sell models at these ridiculous prices, and people will still buy them, right? Sorry, you can. I will give it to you that your 3D printing is a real danger to Games Workshop when I see Games Workshop lowering their prices because they're being undercut by 3D printing, right? That's when I will give you that. Right now, you're seeing the evidence right in front of you. That's not the case. Prices going up They're not going down. They're not going anywhere. They're going up, right? So, Games Workshop have no competition. They decide how much each of these sets of models are worth. They decide how much a Beaky squad of Tactical Marines is worth. They decide how much a 10-man unit of Cataphracti Terminators is worth. They decide how much that Spartan tank is worth, the 2 HQs. They don't have any sort of market to compare this to keep their prices down. If I was going to go out and buy a graphics card, right? I've just had this conversation with a friend of mine this weekend. If I was going to go out and buy a graphics card, let's say my 3070, right? When I went to buy this PC when I was in America, I looked at AMD, I looked at Sapphire, I looked at ATI, I looked at all these different companies and Nvidia too, to see who was going to give me the best bang for my buck. The main reason why graphics cards are relatively cheap for what they are, and they are, if you're getting a 3070 for sub £300, that's a fantastic deal as far as I'm concerned. The reason why prices are kept quite low for what they are, the reason why the standard of each of the machining of every single thing needs to be top quality is because there is a lot of competition out there. You can't dictate how much they can charge for a graphics card. Now, if Nvidia were the only graphics card makers in the world, you can bet your ass this 3070 that I have in my machine would cost over £1,000. They don't have any competition. They don't have anyone to keep them in check, right? And if they then released a box set of 2 of the cards for £1,800 instead of £2,000, I wouldn't be giving them any credit because you guys are setting the market standard. It's up to you how much these things cost, right? It's up to you. You're not giving me a deal. You just picked a number out of the sky and said this is how much it costs, right? So you're not giving me a deal at all. You've rigged the system. The system is rigged. And it's the same with this box set. This box set is not a good deal for £270. It's not a good deal for £150. It's just not, right? Box sets, starter box sets should not be over £125. Right? And that's what this is. Before anyone tells me, well, actually, no. They want more people in Horus Heresy. There is a very good reason why 30k players, like the 30k channel and, Out of Circle as well, there's a very good reason why guys like that are making videos saying, look, if you're going to enter into Horus Heresy, this is what you need to understand and this is what you need to know, so you don't ruin the hobby for everyone else. The reason why everyone has to make videos like that is because this is a starter box set, and everybody knows that. It's only shills who are telling you it isn't, because then Games Workshop can charge whatever they want for it, because it's a box set for enthusiasts. This is a starter box set, and don't let anybody tell you any different, right? It is. This is made for new people starting a new Horus Heresy army. Okay? Now, what I will say is, it's a wonderful box set. Take the price away from it. This is a wonderful box set. I would rather have 1 or 2 of the Rhinos instead of the Land Raider to make it more viable list if you're going to do it from outside of the box. But I will say this. That Spartan tank is my favourite Warhammer tank. It is. It's just my absolute favourite Warhammer tank. It looks badass to me. I love it. I had a friend of mine, Dan, back in the day, who had a really old version of the Land Raider, like a squat version of the new Spartan that we have there. And I always thought that would look cool if it was elongated and looked a bit more like the modern Land Raider. There you go. This is what this Spartan is, and I just love it. Eventually, I will get one, but my current my Astral Blades don't use tanks because they think it's not very honourable, so they don't use tanks or ranged weaponry really. But the Chaos Renegade chapter that I'm going to do, they will be using a Spartan tank. In fact, most of them are Iron Warriors, so they're going to be using big old machines and all that sort of thing. But anyway, moving on. So it's not all bad. The models are in the set. Look, if you buy this to finish your army or to get an army, you've got an army in the box. It's done. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to buy anything else. I will say that for this box set, right? You don't need to buy anything else. You have an army straight out the box. Congratulations. What I will say is the price tag for a starter box set is immoral. It's wrong. And I don't give a shit how much you think you're saving, because Games Workshop tell you how much each and every single one of these models is worth. Right? So they've rigged the system. Okay? That's like me coming in and saying, hey, my house is worth £1 million, but I'll give it to you for 500,000. My house isn't even worth 150,000, right? It's exactly the same. Okay? So I don't want to hear any more about, you know. Anyway, moving on. Moving on. So, Black Library. I'm going to do a video about this next week because I've been making notes about it. I think the Horus Heresy books are a fucking mess. And I think it's a huge wasted opportunity. I'm not happy with the sheer amount of books that have come out. I'm not happy with the standard of some of the books that have come out. And I think you could have told the Horus Heresy in 25 books, and it would have been the most epic, fantastic, wonderful thing that's been written in any sort of form or book series ever. You could have made this better than Dune. You really could. You could have made this better than Dune. It could have been the new standard of fantasy sci-fi epic, you know, in terms of literature. If you did it in 25 books. But that's not what Games Workshop do. They oversaturate. They get greedy. They want more and more and more. They take the stone and they wring every last ounce of blood out of it as they can, even if they ruin what they're already trying to make. They don't give a shit. They do not give a shit, right? They're trying to eke out every single thing that they can. And I don't agree with it. I think it's really shitty practice, and I don't want them to do it anymore. It's just, do as many anthologies as you want, but why are there next to 50 mainline Horus Heresy books? It's ridiculous, right? So, saying that, I quite like this. I think this is quite interesting. It's essentially the anthology story of what you get in the box set, which is, Chthoniya being annihilated by the loyalist Marines as the siege of Terror is going on, which is pretty cool. It's Horus' homeworld. It's shit's gonna go down. But that's pretty cool. But I will be doing a video next week on how I would do the Horus Heresy series, in terms of how I would set it up and what books I would do, what writers would have which book, and how I would finish it off. Because I think it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. The quality of books goes up and down so much you've got no idea where to go with it. It's just crazy. But in terms of the actual things that we get in Horus Heresy, so the Demios Rhino and the Kratos. So let's look at these two, because I really like the Demios looking Rhino. I think it's a nice squatter Rhino. I think it has a lot of moving parts to it, which I really, really like. Price-wise, I would like this to be around the normal Rhino. I know it's not going to be, because that would be fair. But I quite like it. I like the treads. I don't think there's anything wrong with the Rhino. It's kind of like they're reinventing the wheel at this point, which, okay, But the Demios pattern can be used in all sorts of things, like Sisters of Battle and things like that. But I don't mind it, as long as the price is kept reasonable. I would have preferred to have seen this in the starter box set of Horus Heresy, instead of the Spartan, even though I love the Spartan. I'd prefer to see one or two of these in there instead, but that's just me. And yeah, nothing to say much about that. I think it's a lovely model. It's going to be way overpriced when it comes out. There you are. There you are. And do you ever wonder, right, when people say to me that Games Workshop aren't that predatory, do you ever wonder why, when they reveal these things, they don't tell you the price yet? Okay? They're breaking down your resistance to paying ridiculous prices, because they show you the model, they let it fixate in your mind and go over in your mind again and again and again and again, until finally you really want that model, and you've saved up a bit of money to see how much is it going to be. £40 for a Rhino? Oh god, well I do really want it. Oh fuck it, I'll get it, right? That's what they're doing. It's open manipulation and it works, but there you go. Anyway, the big boy, this heavy tank. Now, I really like this. Now, the reason why I like this is, again, I'm not going to like the price, but I've never liked the hovering Space Marine Primaris tanks. Never liked them. I think they look silly. They're not my kind of thing at all. I think a human tank should be on treads. It should look like a World War II, tank or whatever. This looks like a a sci-fi built World War One, World War Two tank, and I absolutely adore it. I love the way that the tracks, it sort of looks like a pair of shoes. Do you know what I mean? Like the way that the thing goes over the tracks. I love that. The way that stanchions go over the tracks there. I love the cannon. I love the more dome-like top gun on there. I think that looks superb. I know I'm going to be in the minority here, but I really like this tank. And if I ever do get a Primaris battle tank, I will be getting this to proxy the battle tank that I'm going to get. You know, the hovering tank, because the hovering tank looks silly and this doesn't. I really like it. Again, I know I'm going to be in the minority. I love tanks with exhaust on the back. I love tanks that look like tanks. They don't look like hovering pieces of shit. I love this. This is great. Squat. You can see it comes from the same family as the Rhino, which again is very important to me. I know they're all based off the same STC, so I want them to all look very similar. I love this. It looks like a Rhino on steroids with several massive guns slapped on them. Brilliant. Love it, right? Now, the price of this thing, another matter. I think we're going to be seeing a very, very large price tag on this bad boy. I think upwards of £75 on this guy. Maybe more. I can't see it being... I can't see it being cheaper than that. I'm sorry, guys. I just can't. If it is, then I'll get one, definitely, because I just really like this. But in terms of it being below £75, can't see it. Cannot see it. Unfortunately. But anyway. So, what else did I want to talk about? So, Black Library, we've already talked about. Kill Team, I've had a good time with it. Really like the fact that they're bringing out more kill teams and that they're not letting that fester. They're letting that go. They're letting it, like, actually become its own game, which I really like. Really respect Games Workshop for doing that. Please keep doing that, because Kill Team's awesome and it should be supported. Weapons upgrades, fine. We've gone over this before in our last session. So yeah, weapons upgrades is fine. Getting like all heavy weapons in Horus Heresy, pretty cool. I would like to see more options for these in the normal starter set, and I think it's pretty shitty that they're making you buy a whole Mark III team, a whole Mark III unit, and then plastering these in the middle, saying, oh well, if you want your heavy weapons, you want a heavy weapons team, you've got to buy them separately. Bit shitty, but I've seen Games Workshop do worse, so I suppose we're okay. But yes, I think Horus Heresy has had a big couple of days, but I also think that Warhammer, in terms of 40,000 or 30k as a whole, has been quite underwhelming for me. We've had, a Chaos reveals that didn't really reveal anything. We had, several new models, great, but most of them weren't very good. That's just personal preference. It's not me saying, And I can't wait to talk about Games Workshop in a positive manner. I can't wait till they start hitting out the park again. But this, for me, Warhammer Fest for me kind of fell flat. I didn't stay up for any of the reveals because I kind of knew I didn't have any faith in them to do cool reveals. I just didn't. I wanted Angron. He's coming out this year, so I wanted him today. Right, I wanted to see him. I wanted Angron. I wanted World Eaters, and it shows you exactly where we are with these guys at the moment. Where you say, "Oh, we want World Eaters." Okay, well here's your World Eaters. Some art, and an ST and an STL format. Brilliant. Well, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Right. So that's been Warhammer Fest in a nutshell for me. I don't think they've done enough. I know for a fact, if you don't know for a fact that they're sitting on stuff and they're going to drip feed you to try and up everyone's fear of missing out, so that when they do come out, you jump on them and no one else can get them, mainly because scalpers go and buy them. And Games Workshop don't give a shit about scalpers buying them as long as they get their money, so, whatever. Yeah, so I'm not really that into Warhammer Fest. I think the next one I'll give a miss. I'll get the news in and I'll go and look at it as it comes in. Because I've been following along this weekend in normal hours. I've not stayed up for any of the reveals or anything, but normal hours. Not huge for me. Not huge into Warhammer Fest. I think we can do a lot better, and I think they're drip feeding you, I'm afraid. But what did you guys think of Warhammer Fest? Did you think it was a good one? Did you enjoy it? And what was your favourite stream? What are you looking forward to most that's coming out that you've been shown? I think Horus Heresy has had a good Warhammer Fest in terms of what it's been revealed. But as a whole, Warhammer 40,000 and the far future, I think has been done little bit dirty. But you know, we'll see. We'll see how much all this costs when it comes out. Those are my main drawbacks. Is that Horus Heresy's had a good few days. We've had a lot of stuff being showcased, but it's going to be very expensive. That's the main drawback. And number two, Warhammer 40,000 hasn't really had anything, and it's a shame. So, what do you think, guys? What are you looking forward to getting the most? Are you going to be holding back, or are you going to be 3D printing a lot? What are you going to be doing? Let me know. And if you are going to get any models, make sure you go downstairs, right below this video, to Composite Games. Get your 25% off your next order. Right down there. Thank you for supporting them, guys, because you are supporting me at the same time. Love you all long time. Have a good one, and I'll see you tomorrow for some Hobby Nightmares. See you then.